Whether you're battling with your portfolio or other countries, it all has to do with trade, right? Joining me to talk just that is Matt Cheslock. Hello, Matt. Welcome. Glad we took cover on the New York Stock Exchange on this rainy day.
Yeah, it looks like rain for the foreseeable future and raining on the markets a little bit today, too.
Good one, Matt. Yeah, it looks like we're imposing some tariffs. So is this an overreaction or is it justified?
I don't know if it's an overreaction. I thought Tuesday's market move was an overreaction to some older news out of Italy. Today, it's definitely a tariff tantrum, and that's what it's all about right now. You're not seeing any reaction from the 10-year. You're not seeing any reaction in the dollar. Crude's got its own issues, but it's certainly just pertaining to what we're expecting out of the tit for tat as far as what we expect out of the EU, Canada, and Mexico as far as the trade tariff.
So it just has to do with the EU, Canada, and Mexico, because I noticed that GM shares are up today. They were really nervous about the tariffs on Asia.
Yeah, that has to do with an investment that SoftBank made in their autonomous cars. So a $2.5 billion investment, that'll help GM in the short term. So that was an enormous investment from SoftBank's Vision Fund, which gets a lot of credit for, having some foresight going forward. So that's all pretty good for GM, despite what we thought could be a negative, tariff related. GM would have been affected, but certainly not today.
Well, another company that's gaining a lot of attention is Uber overnight. Not just that Warren Buffett pulled out of some deal, but also they're looking to have an IPO. Is there a future for this company?
Yeah, an IPO, depending on the headlines, they seem to be good, seem to be bad, seem to be good. It's going to be a matter of timing. So if they can run it where they're hot, the IPO could be very successful. Actually Warren Buffett looking into it, and the number was $3 billion that I saw. Although there are contrary reports, that's a big investment. It's a big endorsement from one of the biggest money managers successfully in the world. So this will eventually happen. It's just a matter of timing if they can get a bunch of good news going and then roll it out.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of drama coming out of that company since Travis Kalanick left. And speaking of CEOs, have you noticed the turnover rate with CEOs has really been picking up, especially in the food companies? What does that tell us?
I think a lot of these CEOs now, they've battled for so long, they've gotten the company on the right track, and maybe it's time for them to maybe move on. So there's a lot of opportunities for CEOs doing other things outside of the market, maybe philanthropically, and maybe that's what you're seeing is that they've done a lot of the hard work and they're just maybe a little bit tired at this stage.
So Matt, any opportunities to pull us out of this rut today?
Not the way it's acting. We just keep hitting, we're just going lower and lower, and it's a slow drag. The oil inventory number really didn't do a whole lot for oil. We bounced off the lows, but that really wasn't a catalyst by any means. We saw some numbers out of the retail sector, out of Dollar Gen and Dollar Tree. After consumer spending ticked up, we thought that might have been a boon, but their conference calls didn't go so well. Their forecast going forward didn't look so well, and a lot of people shop there. A lot of people in Middle America. So I don't know what that says about what's going on. And if oil rallies, you're talking about the airlines and some of the transportations being affected by the high cost of oil. So today, all the headlines, social media-wise, aren't that good. So, just buckle your chin strap and, just prepare for a little bit of volatility, I guess.
Good advice, Matt. Well, soon enough, we won't have to just rely on tariffs to see other countries fight against each other. We have the World Cup coming up.
Is that soccer?
Yeah, it's soccer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that's a summer thing. So something to watch.